Hey, good morning and welcome to a Friday edition of Daf Yomi Mesechus Rosh Hashana Daf Lamed Daled 34. Getting ready for Shabbos. Going back to Israel. I'm looking forward to sleeping a lot tonight. Jet lag to hit me. All right, we're going to start from the top of Lamed Daled and Aleph. The Gemara says, about 3 lines down, how do you know? The Brisa continues from yesterday. Yesterday we established that you have a tekiah followed by a trua followed by a tekiah. How do you know you do that 3 times? Talmud Lomer Avarta Shofar Trua Shabbos and Zichron Trua Yom Trua Yelachem. It says the word trua in the Torah 3 times. Once by Yom Kippur on Yovel, twice by Rosh Hashana. Uminayin Litain as Amar Shal Zeb Shal Zeb. How do you know to link the two? To say that just like Yom Kippur, there's 3, so therefore we learn from Rosh Hashanah 6 more, and Rosh Hashanah has 6. We learn from Yom Kippur of Yovel 3 more. How do you know you link the two? Talmud Lomer Shvi Shvi L'Gzera Shava. It says the word Shvi by Chodesh Shvi by Yom Kippur, and it says Shvi by Rosh Hashanah. L'Gzera Shava Haketz Shalosh Shehin Teisha. We learned yesterday that the Trua is followed by a Tekiah and also preceded by a Tekiah. And now we learned that it applies 3 times. So therefore you have 9 total blasts. Haketz Shalosh Shehin Teisha. Shir Tekiah Ketrua. The share of Tkiya is the length of a trua. Share trua kishalosha shvarim. The share of a trua is like 3 broken sounds. We saw yesterday. We'll see more today. Is it kanuche ganach? Is it like sobbing, or is it like moaning, or is it like yalula yolil, like sobbing? Is that what it was? Yalula yolil. 1 second. Kanuche ganach is moaning. Yalula yolil, right? Sobbing. All right. So the Gemara says. Haitana Mikara Maisila Bekesh or Ashta Maisila Gzera Shava. The Gemara wonders the original Brisa, the first part of the Brisa we read yesterday, learns that the Trua is preceded by a Tekiah and is followed by a Tekiah from a Hekish. Meaning the Hekish was, once we learned that it's Trua Tekiah, Trua Tekiah, we learned that Rosh Hashanah also, we learned the Chodesh HaShvi, it says the word Chodesh HaShvi, so that the word Shvi was unnecessary to teach me that even Rosh Hashanah applies. So that's sort of like a hekish. It just says 1 word. And we learn from that to all of Rosh Hashanah also. And then the Gemara brings from Trua, Gzera Shava, it says Trua by Yom Kippur and Trua Rosh Hashanah to learn that it's 9 blasts in total. So which one is it? Gzera Shava or hekish? This is what the Bryce would say. Ilav Gzera Shava, Hama Maisin Lav Hekesh, Hasha Asif Gzera Shava, Hekesh Lotzar. Originally the Gemara didn't know about this Gzera Shava. They want to learn from Hekesh. Once we know the Gzera Shava, you don't need the Hekesh anymore. Now we're bringing another Brisa, which learns about the Chiyuv of Tkiyos and Rosh Hashanah, Tkiya Shua, Tkiya 3 times. From the Midbar, from the blasting of the shofar and the Chatzotzros in the Midbar to gather Klal Yisrael Tanya, Tkatim Trua. Tkiya b'fnei atzma, Trua b'fnei atzma. The Pasuk says Hashem told Moshe, should blow a trua to gather Klal Yisrael together. It says the word tkiya and it says the word trua. Each one is separate. I would have thought to say they're independent. Oh, or maybe katim and trua just means blow a trua. Trua is just talking one trua. When you gather Klal Yisrael, you should tisku. The Lord uses the word tkiya and don't tariu. Have you omer tkiya b'fnei atzma trua b'fnei atzma. So we know Tekiah and Trua are separate. How do you know that a Tekiah precedes the Trua? It's Katan Trua. The word Tekiah comes before the Trua. How do you know the Tekiah follows the Trua? Trua Yisku. Or it says the word Trua, and then it says Yisku, the Tekiah follows the Trua. You don't need this. Trua Shenis. It says the word Shenis. Why does it say the word? You should blow again. Shenis. That tells you that the Tkiya follows the Trua. I only know it's talking about blowing in the Midbar. I only do Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah Minayin. How do you know Tkiya Trua Rosh Hashanah? Trua Gzera Shava. It says the word Trua by Midbar, Trua by Rosh Hashanah Gzera Shava. Shalosh Truas Nemru Rosh Hashanah. How do you know it's 9 blasts on Rosh Hashanah? It says the word Trua Rosh Hashanah 3 times. Shabbos and Zichron Trua. Yom Trua Avarta Shofar Trua. This last pasuk, Avarta Shofar Trua, is talking about obviously Yom Kippur and Yovel. Shtei Tkiyos the Chol Achas v'Achas. And as we learned before, that from the midbar, the Trua is followed by a Tkiyah and is preceded by a Tkiyah. Matzil Lamedin Shalosh Truos v'Sheish Tkiyos Nem Rosh Hashanah. At the end of the day, we have 3 truos and sheish tkiyos. Sebe Rosh Hashanah, shtayim midivre Torah, v'achas midivre sofer. 2 are learned from actual dinim d'oraisa, psukim d'oraisa. And 1 is a drasha of the Rabbanan supported by the Torah. Shabbos is nichon shua, varta shofer shua, midivre Torah. Those are direct biblical obligations. Yom trua yelachem l'talmud ahoba. That's coming to teach me the gzera shava of trua. It's not directly tell me that you have blasts, the 3rd set of blasts on Rosh Hashanah, but midrabanan they were so mechet mekra that asmachta huba. Rabbi Yishmael bar Nachmani Amar Rabbi Yonasan achas min Torah shtayim min Torah. He says only one of them is direct from the Torah, 2 is from the Rabbanan. Varta shofar trua min Torah. Shabbos and zichron trua yom trua yelachem l'talmud huba. That comes to teach you a teaching. So my talmud huba bishlam, the first pasuk everyone agrees you need it for the gzera shava. Why do you need the second pasuk is midrabanan? What do you need that for? Tell you that you blow the shofar only during the day. It's possible you're not yotzei with the shofar during the night. And the other opinion says where does he know it from? Naftale, Yom Kippurim. It says Yom Kippurim. It says Yom, the word Yom. So you need Yom Kippur on Yovel. Yom Kippur during the year of Yovel, you blow the shofar only during the day. So the Rosh Hashanah only during the day. So this brisa will learn that from the midbar, from the blowing of the chatzotros in the midbar. So why didn't he learn out like the first brisa, the havarta shofar trua? We're learning from Yom Kippurim. That's part of the limud. So learn havarta twice. So we learned that tkiyah precedes the trua, and tkiyah comes after the trua. He doesn't. It's not. That's not. The word havara, passing through, doesn't connote, according to him, blowing a shofar, a tkiyah. Elamai darshibe. What does he do with the word avarta? Avarta g'darav masa. Elam masa. Damar masa avarta derech havaraso. You have to blow the shofar the way it's carried on the animal's head, meaning you blow from the smaller part, not from the bigger part. Taviru, the Kamar Rahmana, what's the second Taviru? What do you learn from that? Na'abre biyad. Taviru, the reason I didn't learn Taviru, the second Taviru, to learn Tkiyah is because I would have thought Taviru tells me that you should carry the shofar, not actually blow the shofar, not make a sound for it. Ida, the Rav Masna, and the other one who learns Havara is talking about a Tkiyah blast. What does he do? Where does he learn Rav Masna from? The Rav Masna with the Shani with the Bure. For the fact that the Torah uses a different language, you only would say a Tkiyah, and it uses the word Havara. So you learn both things out. You learn that it's a Tkiyah blast. It's unadulterated passing through, which is a Tkiyah, a long Tkiyah blast. And the fact that you use a weird Lashon Havara tells me that you have to do a derech havara, so you blow the shofar from the small side, not from the big side, not from the wide side. Havarta derech havara, so taviru biyad l'mat samar. The second thing that he says taviru would sound like you carry in your hand. You can't say that. The Gemara avara mi Moshe. We learn that the word taviru for Moshe means actually making a sound. Ksiv havarta shofar trua. Ksiv hasam says by Moshe v'yitzav Moshe v'yiro kol b'machana. Moshe was Mavir, and he made a sound in the Machana. He called out, he made a proclamation in the Machana. Malahalam B'kol, Afkan B'kol, just like there, he made a noise here too. I mean, also the carrying a shofar is not being used in the mitzvah. Well, the Haitan, the Ma'islam, the Midbar, Imalahalan Chatzosos, Afkan Chatzosos. By the Midbar, it wasn't a shofar, it was Chatzosos. If you want to learn the Rosh Hashanah from the Midbar, you're going to have to learn when to blow with Chatzosos, trumpets, Talmud Lomar, Tiku, B'chod shofar, Kesi Yom Chagenu. We don't say that because it says blow on the Chodesh with a shofar. But what holiday is where the moon is covered up? And the is Rosh Hashanah. Kamar Rahman, a shofar. The pasuk explicitly says a shofar. Asking Rabbi Abahu b'kisrei tkiyah shlosha shvarim trua tkiyah. He made a takana in Caesarea. don't know what Caesarea is. It's on the Mediterranean. There was a big house there that I believe was worth close to $89 million. Um, it was made for the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to Israel lived there. The previous one was David Friedman, a lawyer. It's funny because the guy who drives me around here in a taxi, his name is Daron Mordechai, a very nice guy. He has a nice minivan, fits my family, Mercedes, traveling style. So he previously took this guy, David Friedman. He used to, before he was ambassador to the U.S. in Israel, he actually used to drive him around. So he's familiar with famous people. He drove David Friedman around, now he drives me. Not so famous yet. So the Gemara says, so he made a takana in Caesarea. Tkiya shlosha shvarim. He did both. He did a tkiya followed by shlosha shvarim, 3 semi-long sounds, followed by trua, like the small ones, like shvarim do shvarim. So shvarim. So why did he do this? And he followed by a tkiya manav shach. Yes, if he really held that trua means Yilul Yalil, it means to sob, very quickly, Avid Kia Trua Kia, he should have done a regular trua. If he held that Yevava, right, and our target one clause translate trua as Yevava, which we're not sure it means Yilul Yalil or Genuch Yiganach, it means to moan. Lavit kia shlosha shvarim kia. Do 3 longer sounds, not do a trua. Masafle. The answer masafle genuch ganach iyalula yal. He took both opinions seriously. He wasn't sure, so Pesafik he did both. Masculine Ravira had a problem with this. Vidilma yaluli hava. Maybe it really was sobbing. Become mafsik shlosha shvarim in shul kia. Then you're gonna have 3 longer sounds separating, making a hefsek between the tkiya and the trua. We know that the trua has to be preceded directly with the tkiya. It can't be anything interrupting in between. The Gemara said the hadar avid tkiya trua tkiya. Not only did it do 3 sets of tkiya shvarim trua tkiya, he also did tkiya 3 sets of tkiya trua tkiya, starting to sound more like what we do. So the Gemara says, maybe really was moaning, become mystica true of inshvarim l'tkiya. What's going to happen? It should be a shvarim, and you're doing a trua, and that separates between the middle trua and the last tkiya. You can't have a hefsek. The Gemara says the hadar avid tashat. He does a 3rd set. Right now we're up to 30 blasts. Right, tashrat is 12 blasts. Tkiya shvarim trua. Each was 4 times 3 is 12. Plus tarak, plus tashat, so it's 9 more. Each is 18, 30 of them. He does tkiya shvarim tkiya. Ela ravivah ma'it. What's the kind? Genuchi ganach ha'avde. Why do you have to do the first one of tkiya shvarim trua tkiya tashrat? Why did he need that? Just do, if he was masabi, just do 3 sets of tkiya shvarim tkiya and 3 sets of tkiya trua tkiya. So the Gemara answers masafle dilma ganach v'yalil. Maybe he did. When Yavava means both moaning and sobbing. The Gemara says you should do on Harshat. You should do Tkiya Trua Shvarim Tkiya, because it could have been the other way around. So it should have 42. The Gemara says Ipcha Tkiya Trua Shlosha Shvarim Tkiya. Why don't you do Harshat? The Gemara says Dilma Yalil V'Ganach. Maybe Yavava first means to sob. And then it means to moan. The Gemara says, "Stama de milsa ki misra beinish." When a calamity happens to a person, milsa bereisha minish milsa bereisha ganach v'halil. When it first happens to him, first the guy starts to moan, and then he starts to sob. You usually don't start. First you go. That's what you normally do. You don't do it the other way around. If you do the other way around, you're a weirdo. No joke. You're a weirdo. But the Gemara says most people do it that way. Most people don't go. They don't do that. If you like the sound effects, I practice this all night. I stayed up all night practicing how I'd moan and sob. And I didn't. I was sleeping very well. I'm very tired. All right. So the Gemara says, Taka Rishon Machpashach Pashniya Kishtayim. He blew the first blast, and then the second Kiya he elongated to make it like two. Amar Yochanan. Yochanan says a teaching. Shama Teisha Tekiyos, but Teisha shows. He heard, right, not according to Rabbi Abba, not like the way we do it, but according to the regular opinion of the Mishnah, the stem of the Mishnah, that you only need 9 blasts. So let's say he heard Tekiya, and then an hour later he heard Trua, and an hour later he heard Tekiya. The whole day, it took 9 hours. It took him every hour he heard another blast. But Yomi Yotza, even though there was a long half second between them, something going before, if you have something intervening, a different blast intervening, that would be a half second. If nothing intervening, that's not a problem. Tanya Namiyachi. We learn like this in a brayso also. Shama Tesha Tekiya Tesha Shalos B'Yom Yotza Yotza. Might be Tesha B'nei Adam Ge'echad. If you heard all 9 blasts from 9 people at the same time, while one person is blowing a Tekiya, 6 people are blowing a Tekiya, 3 people are blowing a Trua at the same time, Lo Yotza. You're not Yotza. Because either you can't hear it, it's not in order. Tekiya Mizeh, V'Trua Mizeh, Yotza. If 9 people blow in 9 hours, even if it's not 9 hours, one person says Tekiya, and then another person Trua, and then a third person Tekiya, and so on and so forth. The 9 people blow. Yotza, Afilu V'Sirugin, even if it takes time between Afilu Kol Yom Kulo, even if it happens the whole day. Rabbi Yochanan really say this. Rabbi Yochanan, V'Shum Ben Yotza, the Bahalul Megillah, Imshak De Ligmar Eskula. If you're saying Hallel, you're saying the Megillah on Purim, and you stop without doing another half stake. You just stop. You stop saying it. You pause in between. If you pause the amount of time it takes to finish all of Hallel, to finish all the Megillah, you have to go back to the beginning. So here also, Shama Tesha Tkiyos, Tesha shows, right? If you have intervening hour in between the Tkiyah and the Trua, that's definitely the amount of time it takes to do 9 blasts. So it should be Choser LaRosh. Lo Kasha, Hadide Hadarab himself personally held you can shock the Ligmar's Kulos, not Choser LaRosh. His Rabbi Rishim Yitzhak called you are Choser LaRosh. Did they low? Rabbi Yochanan didn't hold this. Rabbi Abba was Shaki Azal Basher Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Abba was a student of Rabbi Yochanan and was walking behind Rabbi Yochanan. Having a Kari Kriyashma, he was saying Kriyashma, Kimata Luvos Nafos. Ishti, when he came to the places where there was a lot of, it was very dirty, there were a lot of garbage bins, dirty diapers. Ishtik, he was silent. Basar the Challah, once he finished passing that, the garbage bins, Amarle, Ma'u Ligmor, can I finish my Kriyashma? I was in the middle of Kriyashma. Amarle, Imshas, the Ligmor Eskula, Chozel Rosh. If you waited the time it takes to finish all of Kriyashma, you have to go back. So you see Rabbi Yochanan has to hold on. Shak, the Ligmor Eskula. Chozel Rosh. My answer is Hachi Gamar. This is what he said to him. I don't hold Shak, the Ligmor Eskula, Chozel Rosh. According to you, the Svirlach, Imshas, the Ligmor Eskula, Chozel Rosh. According to you, will hold that pausing in the middle of the time it takes to finish the whole thing, so therefore you have to go back and say Kriya Shema. When it comes to Tanios, we're going to learn Masakas Tainus. So you did Kios, you blew the shofar and the Chatzotros. And also you said Brachos, you have an elongated Shemona Esrei and added extra 6 Brachos to Shemona Esrei. They're not Ma'akiv each other. If you do the Kios without doing the extra Brachos, you do the Brachos without doing the extra Kios. Or Yotzei, whatever you did. Tkiyos and brachos are Rosh Hashana, Shal Yom Kippur, Ma'akvos. But Tkiyos and brachos are Rosh Hashana Yom Kippur. If you do the Tkiyos without the brachos, without Malchios, Zichronos, or Shofros, you're not Yotzei. Even the Tkiyos, my time. Amar Rabba, Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu. Hashem said, Emru Lefanai Rosh Hashana, Malchios, Zichronos, or Shofros. Hashem said, say Malchios, Zichronos, and Shofros on Rosh Hashana. Malchios, Kadesh Timlechuni Aleich. Malchios, in order that I should be king, you should make me your king upon you. Zichronos in order that you should remember before me, Latova, for good. What do you do to cause Hashem to remember? You blow a shofar. So you see, by shofar, you see that the shofar, blasting of the shofar, the sounding of the shofar is linked to the brachos. Someone who made the brachos of Musaf, and then a shofar was found during that day. Right, you do blow the shofar afterwards, because even though you don't blow it during the brachos, you're still Yotzei. You did both of them. Taima lahavale shofar mikara. The reason in this Mishnah seems to be because you didn't have a shofar originally. Havale shofar mikara. When you have a shofar originally, shamalua, say the brachos shamalua. You're supposed to blow them either during Shemona Esrei and Musaf or during Chazar Shas and Musaf, like we do. Rav Papa Bar Shmuel Kam Litzluye. Rav Papa Bar Shmuel went up to daven in front of the Amud. Amar Lei L'Sham, not in front of the Amud, by himself actually. Amar Lei L'Sham, he said to his attendant, he said to his shamish, Kina Hinalach, when I signal to you, Takali, blow to me in the middle of Shemona Esrei. Amar Lei, Rava Lo Amru Ela B'Chaver Ir. Rava says, we only said that you blow during the bracha, during the musaf, when you're in the middle of a congregation. When you hear the tkiyos, you hear them while you're davening. That's talking about a tzibur, a congregation. You hear them, but not during the Shemona Esrei. A single person who is not able to blow the shofar or didn't blow the shofar, his friend could blow for him. But if he didn't make the brachos of Musaf, his friend can't be motzing him in the brachos. We'll see. It's actually a machlokas whether, according to Ragam Lila, you could. Mitzvah betoken yosim nevarchim. We conclude by saying that the mitzvah of tkiyah is greater than the mitzvah of brachos on Musaf. Ketzah. One city, they know how to blow the shofar, and one of them they know how to make the brachos. You go to the place. You can only go to one of them. You only choose one. So you go to the place where they know how to blow a shofar, and not to the place where they know to say the brachos. Pshit hadarai said the rabbanon. Shofar is a mitzvah darai said the rabbanon is a mitzvah. The brachos are only mitzvahs the rabbanon. Even if the place where they're blowing the shofar is a suffix, whether they're actually going to blow the shofar now, we're not sure if they even have a shofar. It's still a suffix. Suffix darai l'chumra. That is only the rabbanon. Maybe there's a proof suffix darai l'chumra is darai, and therefore it beats out the Rabbanon of brachos. Even if you say Tafik the Chumrah is only din the Rabbanon, but that the Rabbanon is stronger because it has an Iker Daraisa than a regular the Rabbanon. Now there's a problem with this Gemara because the Gemara seems to imply over here that you have two places to go, one where they blow the shofar and one where they say the brachos. We just said before that they're ma'akva zuadzu, so you shouldn't go to either. You shouldn't go to either place. What does it help to go to either place? You're not going to do both. If you don't do both, it's like you did nothing. That's my question. How do you give an answer to this? So I'm going to go back to the Brisa. We're going to have to say that the explanation over there by Tinios, we say that Tkiyos and Brachos are not ma'akiv each other. It doesn't mean, it means Tkiyos and ma'akiv. Let's say you're supposed to do, I don't know how many tkiyos, but you should like 12 tkiyos, I'm not sure. So if you only do 11 tkiyos, that's tam akvi. You'll say 11 out of 12 is like you did 11. Brachos also, if 6 extra brachos, you say one of the 6 extra brachos, that's good enough. You don't say all 6 to be Yotzei. But when it comes to Rosh Yom Kippur, we have to say that tkiyos and brachos, Rosh Yom Kippur, in ma'akvu zu adzu, it's not talking about the tkiyos and the brachos. They are ma'akiv each other. It's talking about the tkiyos himself. You're supposed to do tarat. The ikar din 9 blasts. So if you do 6 blasts, or you say 6 out of the 9, you get partial credit. Same thing with malchios zichron of the shofar. So you say malchios, you don't say zichron of the shofar, so you say at least malchios. So see that now the explanation. There were 2 explanations before. I didn't quote the one. I said the explanation that. Before the Rosh Hashana, the tkiyos and the brachos, ma'akviz or you see from later on Gemara that seemingly that can't be the explanation. The explanation has to be like the second explanation given that tkiyos and brachos are not ma'akiv each other, or even a Rosh Yom Kippur, but the tkiyos itself. The tkiyos itself on Rosh Yom Kippur they are ma'akiv themselves. So therefore, if you blow 6 out of 9 tkiyos on Rosh Hashana, you're not yotzei. I think I said before that. 6 out of 9 on Rosh Hashana, you are Yotzei. You're not Yotzei. The tkiyos on Rosh Hashana, ma'akiv do it, so you have to do all 9, or you did nothing. The brachos also are ma'akiv do it on Rosh Hashana Yom Kippur. If you say malchios, you don't say zichron and shofar, so you say like you said nothing. But if you said all the brachos, or you say the brachos, if you did all the tkiyos, you don't say all the tkiyos. The tkiyos and the brachos are not ma'akiv do it zu. Kashem shtei sibur chayav kakal yachav yachid Tanya amru lo l'Gamliel. Gamliel says that the shliach sibur can motivate people. Dorech alama sibur mispalin. Why people have to daven a salish Shemona Esrei? Just go right to Chazaras Hashas. It wouldn't be Chazaras Hashas. The shliach sibur should motivate everybody. Amar lehem kedei lahastir shliach tzibur tefillah. So the reason they don't astonish Shemona Esrei is to give the shliach tzibur time to prepare his tefillah. Amar lehem Gamliel dvareicha. Gamliel says that you shliach tzibur can't be motzi one. Lama shliach tzibur yorid l'tnei teva. Why is there kazaras hashas? Why is shliach tzibur daven for the amud? Amar lo kedei lahotzi eshe'eno baki. So even the Rabbanan Ramoda that the shliach tzibur could be motzi people that are not familiar with the davening. Amar lehem kshen shemotzi eshe'eno baki kach motzi es habaki. And it says, if you're going to admit to me that you can motzi someone who's not proficient in the davening, so too he should be able to motzi someone who is proficient. Amar Rabbi Hashana, Amar Yochanan, Modim Chamor Gamliel. Rabbi Yochanan said that end of the Chamim are Modim Gamliel. The shliach tzibur could be motzi even a baki. Rav Amar Adaini Machlokes. Rav says it's still a machlokes. And we'll leave up over here tomorrow. Mirta Hashem will finish up Motzei Shabbos, Nesachas Rosh Hashana, and we're on to Tainus. We're going to fast like we never fasted before. Every day we're going to take a piece of food. I'm going to put it close to my mouth. I'm going to say, Fancy, don't eat it. I'm going to take the piece of food, a different piece of food for all 31 days. I think I'm 31 blad Nesachas Tainus, a different food. Make a bracha and don't eat the food. Because even though it's a shaila, really, right? Let's say you make a bracha on a tainus, right? Should you eat the food? You should not eat the food. What's worse, bracha levatala or fasting? They didn't say you should actually taste the food. So if I say a bracha, I want to taste the food. If I don't say a bracha, I will simply put down the food. I will throw it in the garbage can, the Shvia's garbage can. Anyway, have a good day. Good Shabbos. Bye.